Hello Leo, and welcome to your August 2025 tarot reading. As I'm sitting here recording, the sun has just moved into the sign of Leo, so of course I had to start the August recordings with your sign. I'm going to start by pulling 3 cards to get a bird's eye view picture of what's been going on for the sign of Leo lately. We'll look at the present energies around you now as well as what is upcoming, and I'll continue to pull cards throughout the duration of this reading to go deeper into the messages that are coming through for the sign of Leo. Starting with the Ace of Pentacles. What a great way to begin Leo season and this reading. Aces and this Ace of Pentacles here kind of illustrates a seed being planted. They're very much indicative to fertile soil in which there is a lot of opportunity and potency and room for growth. So it isn't the absolute promise of an opportunity. It's basically a message to tell you that lately you have been in this sort of state of alignment, and there have been opportunities, offers potentially coming through. Maybe some of you have already taken these opportunities and offers with both hands because this is coming up in your recent past. So regardless if the opportunities have shown themselves to you or not yet, just know that the sort of soil in which you're standing on or thriving from is really potent and enriched at this time. I have the 10 of Swords for you as well in the current energy position, and the 5 of Swords. That's very different energy than the Ace of Pentacles. The 10 of Swords and the 5 of Swords is suggesting that you have felt a sense of frustration lately, and this frustration seems to still be kind of mounting even. Some of you have not quite reached that breaking point yet, and maybe this breaking point looks a lot more like a breakthrough that will occur in the month of August. Mercury is retrograde in your sign at the moment, Leo, and I think it's going to be around the 11th of August that stations direct, following a full moon in the sign opposite you, Aquarius, a couple of days before that. I get the impression that from around the 8th and 9th of August onwards for you, this is when the breakthrough of energy happens. This is when there is a lot of illumination and clarity. And instead of feeling like there are problems that you cannot surmount at this time, you're actually beginning to find solutions. I don't know if you can see that, but that's what it says right here. Solutions to the issues that you have been facing lately. Let's just bring it back to the Ace of Pentacles for a couple of minutes before moving on, right? The Ace of Pentacles tells me that you have been on this sort of threshold of emerging, okay? So just like this little shoot that's coming through from the soil, there is a sense of Leo is just peeking through. It's just like life is about to be seen here. And if it's anything like, for instance, it doesn't look a million miles away from a bamboo shoot, right? And bamboo, as we know it, is so strong, sturdy, it's so multi-purpose, multifaceted, it's so enduring, and it takes a long time for that to grow because of all the groundwork, or because of all the unseen work and efforts that are going on to grow this incredibly resilient and it's this kind of like lofty plant that like once it starts growing, there's no stopping it. You know, I don't know if you've ever had bamboo in your home or anything like that. At a certain point, it will just keep growing and growing until it reaches your ceilings, right? And then start curling, right? So for a long time, it can seem as if nothing is happening with that plant because it takes such a long time for those shoots to emerge. So to me, that seems like for you, Leo, you've been in this underground work for a while. You've been tending to matters behind the scenes, your inner world, or perhaps just focused on elements of your projects, your plans, your personal goals that there hasn't been a whole lot of immediate gratification yet, maybe not even a whole lot of applause or even guarantee or certainty that this is going to be a success. So that's why I feel like you're at this threshold lately. However, something has happened, and I think you may already know that the signs of life around this have started to peek their way through. And this is really validating for you, really comforting, because I think it sends the message that you were right to hold patient, you were right to hold faith and not give up, because threshold, portal, archetypes, whatever you want to call that sort of space, can really be very one foot in, one foot out. There can be a lot of uncertainty, and we'll get into it when we clear it up. But then we have this 10 of Swords and the 5 of Swords, which to me is suggesting something I think a little unrelated. This might be something that you've been grappling with for a while now, and Leo, it's getting quite uncomfortable for you. The 10 of Swords, it's the last sort of 10, 10 is the last number, should I say, of the sword suit. So something is really at its maximum capacity, almost like you're at a critical juncture with a concern. And I think that you're very trepidatious about this, because the other word that is on the 5 of Swords is the word mistakes. Are they your mistakes? Are they mistakes or regrettable actions perpetrated against you? Maybe both. This is becoming kind of weighty for you, Leo, and we're going to have to get into that now too. If this reading resonates with you, I'll be linking an extended version down below, and I highly suggest signing up for this private community, because if you want to follow the link to get your extended reading for August, you're also going to be getting a eclipse season deep dive for your sign as well. It's all going to be there on the community, as well as like daily tarot polls and things like that. But bearing in mind that eclipse season, from my perspective, starts around August 23rd with that new moon in Virgo. And eclipse season energy has the propensity for things getting stirred up, destined change occurring, and fated promises to unfold for you too. So that's going to be something that we can kind of just keep our eye on in the rest of this reading too, I think. All right, let's look deeper into that Ace of Pentacles for you. The World and the Wheel of Fortune. Well, that's very interesting, because according to the tarot, these are archetypes of free will and fate. And we are in a realm working with concepts like this all the time. But during eclipse season, let's call it universal principle of fate seems to have a greater oomph behind it. So things that happen and unfold around the 23rd of August all the way through September into early October. Remember, I'll be doing a deep dive on that 6-week container for you on the extended. That's going to be a time where the Wheel of Fortune is going to actually present itself to you even more. But it's already starting to peek through for you lately. The opportunities to come into greater alignment with your purpose, with your mission, with the reason that you are here, have already started to come through for you pretty loudly and clearly. The World card here is showing somebody who has basically reached the summit or the peak. This is a very pinnacle energy. It's the final card of the deck, which suggests, Leo, that you really have reached some sort of a breakthrough in success. And this can look like, you know, handing in that thesis, completing the course, buying or selling something. This could look like making amends. This could just look like a time in your life where you feel very connected and part of a greater whole, the world around you, right? You just feel like there is something, in this card, it's almost like there's this beautiful auric field emanating from the person. And I feel like, and the Sun card is at the bottom of the deck, actually, your ruler. It does seem like you've got a really big aura around you lately, and it's very magnetic and people are drawn towards it, maybe even more than they usually would be. But instead of you just being observed and kind of wanted and desired and people just wanting to be in your orbit, you also get to enjoy the, I guess there's nothing superficial about this exchange. You get to really enjoy feeling like you're generating something from yourself. It's really hard for me to put into words, but I really get the impression, and I hope you maybe understand, Leo, because it's your reading, not mine, but like you're partaking in this energy exchange rather than just performing for others or being there for others or being a good friend or providing a service. You feel like the exchange is more powerful because you feel whole and fulfilled and like you're generating something. It's really hard for me to articulate, but maybe it will come to me as the reading goes on. The Wheel of Fortune tells me that you've been really lucky lately, really fortunate, that things have been playing out for you in a sense, like in a more seamless way, in relation to whatever this Ace of Pentacles alignment is. You know, the Ten of Swords and the Five of Swords does look a little bit more tricky, but it seems like as long as you're focusing on your mission, your purpose, your kind of promises to yourself, and to, I guess, like you're chasing this kind of, or you're following the breadcrumbs of the world, the Wheel of Fortune, the universe, so to speak. And as long as you're doing that, you seem to feel very powerful and fulfilled and like you're really on the right track or in the right place, no matter if this is related to the Ten of Swords, and Five of Swords or not. This might, for some of you, be linked, and for an outsider looking in, then they would think that your purpose, your mission, what you're doing at this time has a cost that is really stressful or even crippling, so they may not fully understand. But I think that this is separate to for a lot of you guys. So the Ten of Swords and the Five of Swords, I'm just going to pull some cards to clear up what's coming through here, because this does seem to me for most of you to be a little different. If you're not sticking around for the extended afterwards and this is all you're going to be here for, Leo, thank you so much for starting Leo season with me. I'm really excited for this season ahead for August, and I'd love to invite you to subscribe to this YouTube, comment, like, or share. That would be really fantastic. Let's finish this with the Ten of Swords and the Five of Swords. What's got your goat? To put it lightly, maybe. Are you ready to forgive yourself, Leo? Instead of carrying Nine of Swords at the bottom of the deck, the worry and the weight and the round and round kind of reductive thinking, cyclical negative thoughts that we can all fall victim to, that lead to the Ten of Swords of feeling so frustrated, even paralyzed sometimes, or just that we can't do it anymore. Are you ready to unburden yourself from something that it seems like there might be a solution here or solutions to what has been troubling you, what maybe feel like regrets or mistakes to you. I have the Queen of Wands and the Six of Wands. Really powerful, fiery energies coming through with the Ten of Swords. I'm going to just keep shuffling and pull a couple more cards for the Five of Swords now. Let's look at this. Your victory lap, or your sort of homecoming, your moment in the sun where you're going to get your flowers, is not all that far away. And there will be, for some of you, and this could be why the Five of Swords is coming through, a little bit of pride here, where there could be a pretty reasonable want on your part to sort of do the I told you so thing, or like, you know, you've been wanting to prove something to somebody who has maybe underestimated you or just misunderstood you a lot. And it seems like you would really like to have your choices validated. And I think that that is coming, but it may not be in the way that you would have dreamt up or, you know, thought would be the, you know, the way you wanted this to go. It's nonetheless going to be really satisfying for you though. I have your card, your Major Arcana, the Strength card with our beautiful lion here, and the Two of Wands to end this part of the reading. This is going to look really, really differently from the 23rd of August onwards for you. I think you are really close to getting what you deserve from a situation that at one point felt like all hope was lost. You may even spend a lot of the month of August feeling as though you have been defeated or that you have let yourself or another down. And part of this test that is being laid out by yourself, it's not like the universe is testing us, you're testing yourself. And that's what the Strength card is here to say. You're testing yourself, even in a subconscious way, so that you know that you can rally, and so that you know ultimately that, not that it wasn't your fault. I think that's maybe what it is. It's like you need to really see somehow that this wasn't your fault, so that you can forgive yourself for this, or that you can let go of this pattern of thoughts. And the Queen of Wands, I think, is your glow up this month, and I feel as though that's really so close. Sometimes those who, you know, we strive for their validation or their approval are people from our close inner circle, our family, our friends, from our place that we grew up. But there is a sense of achievement with the Six of Wands always. There's a sense of accomplishment and victory. With the Queen of Wands, I think that part of your victory and validation will be seeing yourself as this Queen of Wands, seeing yourself as somebody who is really connected to a greater mission. And sometimes that is often going to be misunderstood, Leo, but I think that part of this turning point for you, where you've kind of grown in your magnetism, your aura, all of those things, and all of these little dots are connecting for you. Like this is like all these little dots around you here in the World card. This is all starting to connect, and you get why this all, you kind of can see where it's all coming from, where you're coming from, and why it had to be this way, even though that has been really hard at times. And you couldn't just be told by people like, you are successful, you are brilliant, you are dazzling, we love you. You had to feel that emanating from within yourself. And I think that's part of the homecoming, the success. Now, more mundanely, August seems to be a month where you're much more visible. much more popular, where your star is on the rise, where there is, well, you're being more sought after. So that's probably exciting for you, and you might actually just be, Five of Swords could just be a little bit of nerves coming through, or this kind of fear, even often in the Five of Swords, that I'm gonna mess up, I'm gonna slip up. This can be a bit of self-sabotage coming through when we see the Five of Swords. So I hope that you can dispel some of that worry if that's coming up for you, because the Strength card and the Two of Wands just looks really promising to end this part of the reading. I think once the sun is getting ready to set in the sign of Leo and move to Virgo around the 22nd of the month, you two are turning your back on the greatest challenge that you've been facing lately with an enormous sense of pride in yourself. And sometimes it's, sometimes we have to be strong and we don't want to have to be strong all the time. But this is a time, a period of strength, I think, that you have recently cultivated within yourself. And the main thing that I think you seem so pleased about by the end of the month is that, this strength, it's like the strength to be the best version of yourself you could ever dream up of being. The end of the month presents you with an opportunity to diverge in some way, to split something, to go in a different direction, but maybe still juggle what you have going. There is a divergence here and a one or the other, some sort of a decision to be made, and some sort of you have to answer a call or get back to somebody with your answer. And we're going to get into that, of course, and a lot more in the extended. So with that, I'll leave it there with you, and thank you again for watching. Bye, Leo.